Yo, what is up, everybody? Trader Mayne here. Quick video update for you guys. Sorry for the delay. Um, Not a ton has happened. I mean, it was Valentine's Day. I was doing the whole good boyfriend thing, which is trying my best to not stare at my phone or the computer or at the charts and spend some quality time with the GF. It was real nice. Hopefully, you guys had a good Valentine's, a good weekend as well. Also, was All-Star weekend for the NBA, so I was watching some hoops, watching the dunk comp, all that good stuff. But I wanted to get a real quick update for you. This is just going to be a very short video. I do have family in town the next couple of days, so I do have plans the next 2 nights, but I'm going to try my best to do a video tomorrow and a video Wednesday as well, just to kind of keep you guys updated. But I've been updating the Discord consistently. Everything's kind of going to plan. So when we last spoke via video, and I also did a video on YouTube publicly after the fact, where I talked about this exact kind of area where we might form a potential top. So I'm not saying we're going to dump to zero here or anything like that, but this area was an area of interest for me, and we've kind of beaten this dead horse for a while now. But how I've talked about, shorts being mostly offside for the last 2 months, shorting every level on the low time frame, losing picture of the high time frame picture, or that sounds dumb, but losing the high time frame context being too zoomed in, right? We had people shorting this break and then this high and then this high, and they're getting blown out the entire way. So we talked about why I thought Bitcoin was bottoming, at least temporarily, for some sort of midterm bottom here. Okay, I talked about it on YouTube. I've talked about it on Twitter. I've talked about it on the Discord. So if you need a refresher, go check that stuff out. It's good to see that explanation happening as prices unfolding live, right? Because what we were able to do was to map out levels, entries. We took multiple trades along the way, and we've basically ridden this trend the entire way. Now we're into kind of the first area where, in my opinion, we could see some decent high time frame resistance. And so that's into this weekly order block here. So what are the levels on my chart? We have this weekly order block here, okay? This is the previous weekly swing high. So we, on the first week of February, first weekend of February, we made a official higher high on the weekly, right? So my money is on a higher low now forming. Whether that happens here, whether this is it, and we see another little parabolic ascent here and then a bigger correction, right? So I talked about in my last video, I said if we don't top here, and let me finish my point here. This 87.44 level is the top of this level here, but it's also in line with this kind of 3-day, 6-day order block, whatever you want to call it, but just this demand zone, okay? Also happens to be a nice top there, a top there, right? SR here. This 95 level, right, which is that previous weekly swing high, right? So obviously this is a key level, okay? Lots of interaction here, lots of respect for this level if you go back again. So good level there, okay? And then this level here comes from the weekly as well. And it is the bottom of this order block here. And then if we zoom in, right, it's basically the top of this range, right? Not quite, but $100 lower, but it's this swing low, right? So again, another very interesting level, right? The floor here deviated below, right? Resistance, 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 broke through, retest, go. So obviously these are some key levels. This is also near the yearly open. The yearly open's a little lower. But I've also talked about, a couple potential pullbacks, and one of them being quite deep would be right into this area here. Not sure if we're going to come back that far, but it is possible. But for now, the plan was let's hedge here. We've had a very nice run up here. This move is getting quite steep, and there's a chance that this could, reverse. All the way down. Who knows? This could be we could have continuation of the downtrend here. This could be a deviation here. We could fucking market maker model this all the way back down. Not trying to guess what's going to happen, just going to play this level to level. To me, the trend is up. I'm still leaning bullish because we just made a higher high on the weekly. Everyone who's been shorting here has been fighting the trend, in my opinion. And now, right, and I talk about this in so many videos, right? The trend shifts on the low time frame first, right? We have 4-hour market structure breaks, then daily. We've now had that weekly market structure break. So to me, that's macro high time frame bullish, right? So as much as, if you look here, this is just the inverse. We made a lower low on the weekly. What happens here? Everyone gets bullish, forgetting we just made a lower low on the weekly. There's continuation, right? So now we've made a higher low or a higher high on the weekly. Any sort of pullback here, right? Everyone's going to be hopping into shorts, and perfect opportunity to then continue up. So I'm personally leaning bullish still. I'm thinking we're going to be testing 11K soon. So I hedged a bunch of Bitcoin up here. I talked about having sells in the Discord here all the way through up to 10.4, watching 9.5 for a bounce. So I mean, you go on Twitter. I've been laying this shit out for a while now. We've been on point and accurate this entire time. So we're now coming into potential area of support, that 9.5K level, 3-day order block, previous weekly swing high, price floor after the 14K top, right? So this is an interesting area of support here, this 95 level. So I've closed my hedge here at 9,700. I closed it earlier. So basically, I didn't hedge all my Bitcoin at 10.4. Some was at 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4. But couple $100, couple percentage points per Bitcoin hedged. I'm pretty happy with that. And now we're going to wait and see. So to me, the next area of interest is here. Okay. This is where I think the next potential top could form. So what do we got here? Right, so this 11.2 area is the next area of interest to me. But for now, we're into this area. So I want to see what price does. The reason I closed my hedge is we had this daily close, right? Big lower wick right into here. And if you look at this uptrend here, right, we've had very shallow pullbacks, right? The pullbacks have been shallow. And in my last video, I talked about how this could be forming a top, right? We could be kind of getting that rising wedge kind of action forming here. Marginally higher highs, right? This higher high is marginal relative to this one, So talked about how, we could be forming a top here. Move could be running out of steam, but this could have one more leg in it. And, if you look, this is the most topped it's looked on the daily. Maybe even not. I mean, you've kind of got, oh God. Can I just make this go away? This is, on the weekly, sorry. This is the worst looking weekly candle we've had in this entire run up, right? We have a red weekly close with a long upper wick. So that means we could see a deeper pullback here. And I did talk about this, right? When everyone was super bullish here, I was thinking we might close this weekly candle. Sorry about this, guys. Might close this weekly candle red. So it turns out that was right. And this could lead to a deeper pullback again, right? If this is the start of a new trend, right? Higher high on the weekly, any sort of higher low could form here, right into this SR level, could come way deeper and be a higher low after a higher high, and then see continuation, right? So I'm still bull biased on the macro, but I am going to be realistic. We could pull back decently far from here. So I closed my hedge because we had this nice reaction from an area with a lot of confluence, like I just explained. Could we drop lower? Yeah, but I mean, if we lose basically this level here, right? So look at the H4 here. This is a decent reaction so far. This could just lead to a bearish retest and dump. But if we lose this 9,500 level, I think it's a quick shot down here. So in my opinion, right, your invalidation is here. Right, your invalidation is here, okay? if you're long or whatever. And for me, cut my hedge, pretty happy. If we bounce up here and then continue, great, I made the right call. If we dump down and lose this level, I'll probably look to get short down to here, because I think if we lose this 95 level, easily we drop another $800 to $1,000. So I'll hop into short. And then let's say it would look something like this, right? So if this was going to be a bearish retest, right? When we come below here, there goes your stop, right? You're selling, whatever pullback you can get, and you're going down into here, and the risk reward is going to absolutely be there. Because to me, it's got a long way to fall, right? So this would be kind of a trade I would be looking for should we lose this 95.50 level. But for now, I'm still long biased. I didn't personally hop in a long here. It's a holiday up here in Canada. I think it's a holiday in the US as well. So I was just, hanging out, went outside, went for a hike. It was nice out. So I didn't personally catch a long, right? But one of the things that I've done, one of the key things of value, right, that I add for you guys is directional bias and kind of a macro perspective. At the end of the day, I'm not going to catch every trade. As you guys know, I'm not taking any trades that are not at least on the H4 for my execution time frame. And for me, I guess you could say this is a swing failure pattern. I wasn't at the computer when this happened, so I didn't enter, but you could have put your stop. You could have entered when this candle closed, a swing failure pattern, stop there, right? That's an H4 trade. There's no trade for me there, though, personally. But when I'm giving you guys the high time frame direction, the directional bias, and I'm also giving you the key levels to watch, you guys have learned enough already, and I know this because you guys are lighting up the Winners channel all the time. You guys know enough to enter trades on your own, right? But let's just talk about it. So I've given you the hedge, and then I've said, here's where we're going to bounce. I'm like, we're going to bounce at 95. I said this like a week ago. So literally a week ago, watching 9.5 for a bounce. We had all this shit posted already. So now when we come to 9.5, you could look for a setup where in your mind you're long biased at 9.5, right? So I give you the high time frame level. I give you the bias. You guys know enough setups to enter the trade on your own. Let's say you're entering on the hourly, right? So what's this, right? There's an SR flip trade. Once we close through here, you're looking to enter. Okay, there's a trade. This is a bullish order block right here. So you could have entered on this bullish OB, stop at the low. You could have entered at the EQ of the bullish OB. Let's zoom in even more. Right, what do we have here? On the 15-minute, what's another setup we've taught you, right? There's your 3 drives into a key high time frame level, right? So that's a trade you could have entered. What do you see here? This is 15-minute bullish market structure forming, right? A low, a high, there's your market structure break. Now what are you doing? You're buying a pullback. Where's the pullback? Right into the bullish order block that led to the break in market structure. What else is this? This is also a perfect 50% retracement of this swing, right? You could argue, you could use this one, I guess, if you want that OTE. But, there's your pullback, right? So what happens next? Here's another break in market structure, right? There's an easy SR flip. Low, high, a low, a high, a higher low. There's a higher high now. What are you doing? You're now buying pullbacks. Okay, so there's an SR flip. This top, right, becomes a bottom. So there's a lot of entries that you guys have been taught that you know how to get into. So I already know a bunch of you guys got in longs here. But again, nothing was apparent to me on the H4 that was worth taking a trade. I also wasn't at the computer. This is the SFP trade, right? There's your entry right on the close. Stop below the low. But for me here, right? But the problem is my FTA is right here. Because if I'm just looking at this on the H4, this area here, this is my bearish retest zone. It's a pretty big zone, right? It's like $200, but at the end of the day, this is where I'm thinking if this is going to turn around, it's happening between 9.8 and 9.950 basically, right? So we could come all the way up into here and turn down. So to me, the risk reward for a long on the H4, it's not there. I gotta be getting out of this area to even get a 2-to-1. Whereas if you're on the lower time frame, however, right, you're entering on this 15-minute order block here, let's say. Okay, stop can go here or here, right? You have a 2-to-1 right into your resistance area, which would be right in here. So the risk reward was there on the low time frame, wasn't there for me on the high time frame. So no trade, but you guys have learned these entries. I've taught you them. I've done videos on them. So even though I'm not catching every trade, we've caught so many here. If I'm giving you the directional bias and the levels to look out for, you guys now know enough to execute on your own, right? And that's when it really starts clicking, when I don't need to post stop entry target. I mean, I still do, for lots of trades, but you're starting to see it in your own charts, right? That's when the real learning is happening, is when you're saying, okay, Mayne has showed me this setup. I'm now seeing it form live. It's one thing to see it in hindsight. It's another thing to see it actually live in your own chart with your own, eyes, instead of me showing it to you, giving it to you, right? So what's next, right? If we lose this 9.5 level, I'll just summarize here. If we lose this 9.5 level, I'm looking to short it down into here. And then if we lose here, we're going deep here. I will look to long here, and I will look to long here. But I will absolutely short a breakdown here, just kind of cover my ass, because I think if we lose 9.5, it's at least a $500 to $1,000 move to the next support. If we are able to continue our uptrend, whether that starts from here and we get one more rise, because this move is getting quite parabolic, right? So we could have one more rise and then a bigger medium-term top, or this could be kind of a medium-term top, and then we see another leg up. The next area of interest for me, going back to that weekly chart, is up here, okay? So this is where I'd be looking next. 11.2 is the level where I would be looking to potentially short this thing again or hedge. But until then, I'm still bull biased. Right now, I am just long spot Bitcoin, not long or not in any sort of leveraged trade, but gonna wait and see. It's Monday, it's a holiday, so gonna wait and see what happens tomorrow, Tuesday, right? Common day to see potentially the higher the low of the week form. So hopefully not the high, hopefully it's the low, because who doesn't want Bitcoin to go up? But let's see. We're retesting a key level here, and just based on all of these pullbacks we've had in this run, right? If you just go here to here, right? We've now fulfilled that, 62% OTE pullback right there, right? So if you go from here to here, right? Same thing. This one was very shallow, but so it hasn't pulled back that far, but I mean, this could be enough based on this trend. We're trending strong. We haven't really had a big nuke or anything like that, or some sort of, major cause for concern, right? Our market structure on the daily is here, right? So we got room to come down and can still go up and maintain bullish market structure, because right now we're just marching up, right? Just marching up, marching up. Next one would be up here. So let's see what tomorrow brings. But yeah, just wanted to get a real quick update for you guys out. Things have been going well. We've been fucking absolutely dialed in since, midway through December, catching longs this entire way. Have had some incredible trades. We literally caught 100% move on ETH. Nailed kind of where it's going to have a retest. I like how strong ETH has been. Like, look at the buy up on these wicks. ETH has been incredibly strong. It's also getting quite parabolic. But again, we longed ETH at 123, targeted 260 when everyone thought ETH was going to $80 again. So we've had some really nice trades. I've made an absolute killing in the last 2 months that has made up for any losses I had in the previous few months, because I had a little bit of a rough spell kind of in August, September, October. I wasn't trading that good. All of that has been wiped away and then some. So hopefully you guys are feeling the same way. I've been feeling really good about it. I'm still bullish as hell. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 11K soon. I think a lot of people are still trying to just short everything. You know, if we top here temporarily, it makes sense to me. This is the first area that I think makes sense to have a potential top. But we have to remember, right, is even if this is a high being placed, it's a higher high on the weekly. So the money bet is on a higher low, not on continuation to the downside. It's a higher low. That's the high probability move in my opinion. So let's wait and see. I'll try my best to get back in action with another video tomorrow. All right. Thanks, guys.